Welcome back, Royals, to All Access as we continue our season preview series with women's soccer today. And joining us on the show is head coach Scott Dement of the women's team. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And today we'll be going over the season schedule, talking about the players and what Royal fans can expect from the team this season. To start off the show, last night the team had an exhibition against Chapman in which they won 2-0. Talk to me a little bit about last night. What did you see from the girls, and what positives did you take?
Yeah, I thought they've been working really hard in camp, and it's kind of hard to duplicate what an opponent will give you defensively, and the different pieces that maybe come from team to team. And so for us, I thought it was very good for us to play consistent soccer, to try to find our identity as we've been trying to teach them, just being possession-oriented team. I thought we were very comfortable when Chapman was able to put a lot of pressure on our back line, being able to build out of the back with the ball at our feet. I think we did a pretty good job of that. It was great to see Indy get on the board scoring, because she's been working extremely hard, and I wanted to see her get a result of all the hard work. Same thing for Annie. She's playing a new role for us, and so for her to get on the board also is kind of a glimpse of what could be from her. But I think defensively, being able to be comfortable with the 2-0 lead and still come away with a shutout. Our keepers made some really good saves. Defensively, we have some new pieces, and to kind of see what that looked like, I think we're very deep in the back, so just trying to find the right pieces. But I think it was a good glimpse that we can score some goals this year, and we can definitely defend with the best of them, so it was really good to see.
Yeah, the team looked very solid last night from my perspective, at least.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So going into the preseason training, you've been at it for over 2 weeks now. How have the practices been so far, and what's the energy been like out there?
Yeah, I mean, our Hell Weeks are a little bit shorter, just based on the time we start and when school starts and when our first game is, and so we try to cram a lot into it. We had like 2 practices a day. We're going to the gym, every other day, so 3 practices, and just trying to get them fit and just trying to get their bodies back into, hey, season's around the corner, and for our freshmen coming into it, they're not used to starting so early, kind of shocking them into reality, what all the hard work kind of looks like. But training's been great. I mean, they've kind of passed all their fitness stuff with flying colors. They're really fit. They're really motivating, inspiring, and gritty. I think they're willing to put in the work, and it's really good to see. So as much as like fitness is about trying to get to certain numbers, it's really just trying to break down, the barriers of I can't to I can. And they did it pretty convincingly. So I think it was really good to see throughout that process, just they have the work ethic, right? And that's something that I really can't coach them to do. And so for them to show up in the beginning of camp and to put in that amount of work within the 2 weeks is very promising to see what the future holds for this team.
And now moving on to the roster, as you lost a good chunk of players last year, with more than half part of your starting 11, including the 2-time GSAC Player of the Year, Christian Sundstrom.
Yep.
Going into this year, this team has a strong mix of returners and new faces. With 19 returners from last year's team, who are some of the players you expect to lead the way this year?
Like I said, I think, collectively as a group, everybody has something just very special, and how that fits together, time will tell, right? But I think you definitely lean on the older players, the one with the experiences. Definitely 2 of our captains who are seniors, Bella and Indy. It's going to be a huge role for them. You can tell they played heavy minutes last night. They're going to continue to play heavy minutes. They have the experience, right? Now they have the leadership and the captain band on. So lots of responsibilities that'll come through them. But I think specifically for those 2, there's a lot on their shoulders, but I know they can handle it. So I think the team's in really good hands with those 2 leading.
And now talking about the incoming class you brought in, as you signed a bunch of new players this off season. What can you tell us from any of the freshmen or transfers that have impressed you so far? Yeah,
I mean, we have 6 freshmen that came into it and 5 transfers. One of the transfers came into the spring, so she kind of knows the girls, but she hasn't played a season with us, so still considered to be new. And a little bit of cheating just because we got to see him play last night, a couple of the freshmen, and really just the hard work, and as much as nerves may be there, being their first college game and playing against, Jacinda's only 17, and she could be playing against 22, 24-year-olds, which could be intimidating. But I thought when we put her in the game and gave her some coaching points to kind of stick to certain things we wanted her to do, she got really comfortable, and at the end of the day, I think it just became a game for her. And I think you can see she's really comfortable on the ball. Peyton is another one that kind of came in. I recruited her a while ago, and she committed and I'm very excited because I think it's so much promising for her in the minutes that I think are ahead for her, is to kind of get those nerves out. And I think you can kind of see she's got some pace. She's got a lot of things to offer on both sides of the ball. So yeah, definitely 2 freshmen there. Madeline also is a great freshman. I think she scored over 40-something goals in her senior year. Was MVP of her conference. She's kind of battling a little bit of quad injury and stuff like that, so we tried to work her in just a little bit, but we want to make sure we can kind of, protect the weeks ahead and not kind of overdo it too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's someone in your eyes that the Royal fans should keep their eye on this year?
Yeah, I think Shelby, is coming off of ACL, and unfortunate, it happened in midseason last year, and she's such a dynamic defender and ball winner in the air, seeks the contact, and I think it's somebody coming back from injury. Kalia also got injured and she wasn't used to injury, and she's very excited and very passionate, and so to have that on the field is definitely somebody to watch out for, but also just our leaders. Like I said, Indy and Bella are going to be on the field a lot, and I think just having them have new responsibilities based on who graduated and what kind of minutes are left to take over, I think those kind of players will step up, and it'll be very noticeable who those players are as we get going.
And now, moving on to the season now, with your first official match coming next week on August 26th against Stanton, what are you looking for from the girls to improve on from the scrimmage going into next week?
I think just continue to build momentum, right? Like the college game is finding a stride and making sure you don't do it too early, but taking the wins and losses from, the mistakes and the small little steps forward and the victories that happen within the 90 minutes, and just building off of that, right? We haven't had a ton of time on the field. A lot of it's been fitness-based and either team bonding stuff and getting to know the team. So specifically on tactics will come over time, but I think the glimpse of what we saw last night and now putting that as a foundation and building around certain things and looking to correct certain things within those moments that happened last night. Just slow growth, right? Slowly taking those stairs, as I tell the players, to get to the top, and not taking the elevator and just thinking that we're going to win a championship tomorrow. It takes time after time, and so I think just small wins from each half, from each game, to build consistency.
And looking at your schedule, you face a lot of different teams in the preseason. Including 3 games in Oregon. From those non-conference games, which do you see as the biggest test?
I think just playing on the road. We've never taken a road trip for 6 days, right? Facing 3 opponents with a day off in between. I think that'll be challenging, but necessary for us to grow, and being away from home, being comfortable, and trying to balance now academics and traveling, not sleeping in your own bed, and eating and all these different things like that. The opponents, Oregon Tech played us really well last year. That was one of our losses, and so looking to rebound, on their turf. Southern Oregon will play, which should be a really good game. When they came here a couple years ago, that was a great competition for us, and then Corbin's going to drive down to Southern Oregon, and so it should be good competition. But I feel like our preseason, those 3 games, because of how far away from home it is, should be really challenging for us to get adjusted to. Conferences half in Arizona will be away from home as well, and so it'll be a good way to kind of adjust to that, not being so comfortable playing down the street.
And are there any opponents from last season you're looking forward to facing?
The rankings came out today, and obviously Embry-Riddle I think is 14th and Masters is 25th, and I think we played those teams pretty well during season, and obviously at the end of season, a little bit more gassed, injuries and different things, and we would love to have those game back, but now we get Masters twice and get Embry-Riddle at least once, and so I think those 3 games will be key for us, and I know the girls, especially the returners, are looking forward to those games. A little bit of redemption, if you will, or just really kind of measure, if they're ahead of us, that's where we want to be, so I think it would be good for us.
And now let's talk about team culture a little bit. I know you like to do a lot of team bonding events and activities, and the team recently had a trip to the mountains last week. Explain to us how that went and how it helps bring the team closer together.
I think it's just big on culture. I think it's more important than winning, in my eyes, and I think if you do it right, the winning eventually comes. And so, like I said, to try to cram a lot of stuff within a couple of weeks, it's very valuable, I feel, to get away from the distractions of everything that is here, and to really just kind of focus the person before the athlete. The athlete is shown easily on the field on the day-to-day stuff, but who are we inside, you know, and what do we want to accomplish, you know, as individuals, and having us create a sisterhood within the family of hope. So to put them in an environment that allows that stuff to kind of hopefully happen organically, you know. We share our testimonies up there, which I think is pretty powerful. Coaches go first, I start, and then all the girls go, and so we were able to get through all 30 testimonies before we came back, and I think it was really great. You know, culture, as you said, it's like I get to go, I'm fortunate to go on a leadership conference every year out of state, and I get to listen to these keynote speakers. And this year, Sahil Bloom, who was an ex-Stanford baseball player, his dad is a Harvard professor, I got to listen to him speak, and he talked about 5 different kinds of wealth, right? And it talked about social wealth and mental wealth and physical wealth, financial wealth, and time wealth, right? And it was so, like, I'm hearing this, but I'm trying to put it in perspective for my players to really understand, you know, that you can repair, right? You can repair the relationships that comes with social wealth, right? Yeah. You can rebuild your mind and rebuild your body. That's the physical and mental wealth, right? You can always make more money. That is the financial part. But the time is something you can never get back. And that should be the most valuable thing as they're on this campus, and that we get to play a season that they can't ever get it back. So my part, and I'm trying to emphasize, is just how important time is, right? And to make sure that we don't waste any time, right? We don't waste any moments, because the other stuff, you can always get it back, you can always repair it. And so trying to kind of start a foundation of culture with that being the premise of a lot of things. And I was able to go to Maui and spend some time with 2 of my players that are from Maui, and it was great because I get to see the culture, and I really embody family, and I feel family can be a lot of different things. And watching OHANA, you know, and how that is their culture, bringing that back and trying to, again, build that into my team, because there'll be a lot of ups and downs, you know, through school, through social life, through family, through, you know, the ups and downs of traveling and the wins and losses. And it was trying to get a good foundation of what's the big picture, right? And it should be just family. It should be really buying into each other's life and trying to help them get to the finish line, right? So culture's, huge for me.
That's some powerful stuff.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah,
I really like
thanks.
it. And would you say this kind of like things you do help translate to on the field play? Yeah,
you know, when I first started coaching a long time ago, was always, I just thought I had to just yell at people to get the best soccer out of them, you know. And my mentor at that time was just a yeller, and I felt, oh, I'll get a little bit more out of them. And slowly, once I had my daughter and my own kids and stuff, it was just treat them the right way, you know, and they're gonna compete and they're gonna play. Teach them the right way, you know, so they can learn the right way. And I really just kind of embodied that, you know, and trying to pass it down to my players.
Yeah.
You know.
And as for the team, who would you say on this team is the person that will keep everyone connected?
Again, I have to go back to my captains because we have a lot of meetings and going, but I think specifically, I think Bella, she's one of the older players on the team, and with that comes a lot of experience, a lot of life lessons, a lot of things that she's been through in her life where she can contribute, but also just the energy, right? She's probably the most fit on our team, if not one of the most fit on our team, and she has been for the couple years that she's been here. She leads by example, she has a voice, she has the experience, and I feel that's something that a lot of people can attach to. So I think glue, I think she would probably be one of the driving forces in that.
And now for your season goals, what do you see as the biggest strength of this team going into the season?
Yeah, I think goals, I think we want I think we'll leave those in-house, specifically on certain things that they want to accomplish. I think that's something for them to kind of embody and see if they can do that. But I think collectively, you know, it's always to extend our season.
Yeah.
Right, we guaranteed 20 games. We want to extend our season as far as we can. I think that'll show a lot of results from doing. I think a couple other things is making sure that we're excelling in the classroom. You know, years ago when I took over the program, I think we might have been 15th or 16th, you know, with one of the lowest GPAs, and now I think we're 4th on campus with like a 3.4 GPA, and so the goal is to be number 1. I feel we can do that, so I think that'll also show some good results if we can do that. You know, being good pillars in our community, and then trying to, you know, grow in our faith. I think those kind of 4 things, and regardless if we win or lose, I think if we can kind of grow from all 4 of those, I think we'll say we won a season, and it doesn't necessarily have to result in a trophy. I think just the inner part of who we are and what we want from the university, and for me specifically as a coach and also as a parent, I want to see them grow in a lot of other ways that doesn't involve a soccer ball.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Coach. That is all the questions we have for today.
All right.
We look forward to a great season from the Royals, and good luck on this year.
Yep.
And don't forget, Royals, to come out on August 26th to cheer on your Royals as they take on Stanton at home at OC Great Park in Irvine. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time, Royals.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Tommy.